Hi, I'm Michael Keynes.
Hi, I'm Matt Galinsky.
I'm Lindy Milan.
Hi, I'm Cristiano De Martin.
Hello, I'm Alistair McLeod.
I'm Luke Nguyen, and I'm at the Hilton Brisbane Masterclass 2010.
The Masterclass is a weekend event. Happens once every 2 years here at Hilton Brisbane. And it's about bringing the best of food and wine here to Queensland. And we profile on chefs from around the state, from around Australia and from overseas. And it's just a great weekend of sipping and tasting and learning, networking and real enjoyment.
This is what we work for. This is what we put together. We put together such a large event, and it's just great to see so many people having such a wonderful time. They've learned so much. They've experienced things they've never experienced before, and it's just terrific to see the smiles on people's faces.
I like to just fully immerse myself in all of it.
What drives you to be a chef is your passion. It's what you love doing. So if you love doing what you're doing with cooking and cuisine, come over and share it with everybody.
There's always something new and interesting, and it's cutting edge without being faddish and silly, and you always take away some new skills and some new knowledge.
And you get to share, you get to see, you get to experience, you get the feeling, you know, all this passion.
You can talk about food, you can consume it through the TV, you can listen to people talking about it, but actually ultimately food's about flavour, it's about texture, it's about experiencing.
When I'm working in the masterclass, doing a session, you're backstage with all these other brilliant chefs, and some of them, you know, are your heroes.
It's always a good opportunity to sit in front of people, you know, groups of 50, 100 people, and present our wines and connect with those customers in the marketplace. A lot of my time is spent working in a vineyard, working in a winery, disconnected with our customers, and as I said, we don't have visitors there, so when an opportunity comes to use my time in a valuable way, rather than just visiting one or two wine shops and seeing a couple of people, but to present in a formal environment as a masterclass is a great opportunity.
The Masterclass is basically a big collection of chefs and their ideas and recipes, and all these industry professionals as well. We have apprentices, everyone from apprentices to guest chefs, chefs with combined experiences of probably over 1,000 years really. Well, the caliber of chefs here, you can't get any better. We have young chefs, we have chefs that are senior, international chefs, and the energy, the adrenaline is just pumping, as you can see here as well. So, no, it's a great feeling. There's such a buzz in the kitchen, everyone's loving it. They've worked about 16 hours a day, but we're all pumping, we're loving it. The chefs are here. It's great to rub shoulders with these guys, you know, learn from them, exchange ideas. So it's a fantastic feeling. There's a lot of produce used in the masterclass. Obviously, there's a lot of exotic ingredients like rice paddy flowers, culantro or sawtooth coriander that we source from different parts of Australia, really, even Victoria if required. So there's a lot of ingredients, and to a big indent list, a big shopping list for me, but we've got there and that's fine. We enjoyed the process of it. All the individual rooms have their tastings happening right now as we speak, so really looking forward to it.
There was two chefs this morning, Martin Bowers and myself, and we had 6 dishes in an hour. My first dish was a pomelo salad with spanner crab, fresh spanner crab meat, local, beautiful, and dried shrimp as well, and 5 varieties of different Vietnamese herbs. So we had sawtooth coriander, rice paddy herb, green mint, perilla leaf, and Vietnamese mint. Pomelo is like a citrus fruit, the biggest citrus fruit in the world. They can range from that size to that size. And they're, you know, a little bit bitter, a little bit sweet, and a little bit sour as well, which I think explains Vietnamese food quite well. Well, first you look at the food, and then you can smell the food, and then you can taste the food, and you got to feel the food as well. So I love biting something and having 4 or 5 different textures at the same time. It's quite unique. I guess what's guided me in my career would have to be, in my style of cooking, would have to be tradition, authenticity, and also culture. As soon as you introduce an ingredient, everyone's writing it down in the book and really interested. And I just saw Circe Lee this morning and Jacques Ramon, and I'm like, wow, yeah, you know, I learned something as well. So it's constant learning, and cooking, you never stop learning. And as a chef, doesn't matter how long you've been doing it for, 50 years, 20 years, you can learn something new every day. If it's not cooking In the kitchen, it's got to do with food, either writing more books or traveling and doing cooking shows. And you know, I immerse myself with food, and if I didn't have food, life would be quite boring.
Basically, what I'm trying to do is give the people that come to the masterclass a feeling for what we do back at a white restaurant in Auckland, which is our food philosophy called homegrown, which is all about New Zealand produce. I'm going, condense all this in 3 dishes. One is a cured New Zealand salmon, all done with native spices like your citrus kelp, your caringo, your oropito, which is the New Zealand native pepper, on a confit fennel, some creme fraiche, and then we use the caringo, which is a seaweed, to dry it up, toast it just to give it a nice and crispy touch to the dish. We're going to do cured and seared venison. Venison, obviously, Serena venison is very popular, from New Zealand. And we're going to use feijoa, which is obviously a fruit from New Zealand, which has got very actually short sort of season, about 3 months. We make a jam, and as the base, we're going to put together a compact and compressed filo. Lots of filo, 12 layers of filo pastry, which we're going to put some cracked pepper in between, just to give it a little bit of, zest, into it to help with the venison. And to finish, we're going to do a parfait. You can be relaxed and have a relaxed service, but still, the quality of the food, the quality of the service is always up there,
Well, the whole thing is that what I want to do is really simple food that the home cook can do, so I don't do the complicated chefy stuff. I'm hoping that they can go home and feel really great about themselves and about how they perform in the kitchen. You get the endorphins, that's the feel-good hormone, from feeling good, from cooking and sharing with people you love, and that hospitality of the table is such a wonderful warmth that can go out beyond your table and beyond your family and wider. You've always got to leave someone with something, and with something they didn't have before. And they're going to go home and they're going to think, oh gee, I can make that. Food is food. It's meant to be joy, it's meant to be pleasure, it's not meant to be a task. And just that we live in the best country in the world and our food is affordable and accessible, so get in there and do it for yourself.
The Masterclass is a really good and wonderful way of being able to showcase your skill. What I'd like the punter to experience through my session is an understanding of my thought process for creative food, and also some of the new techniques that we're using, so cooking at lower temperature and explaining that as a process. We're using vacuum pack, sous vide, as we call it in French. That as a technique has been quite widespread in Europe, and it's got lots of different benefits economically as well as texture and flavour. I came here with a viewpoint, taking my dishes and adapting them to some of the local products that are available here. And so rather than just sort of bring a load of stuff into the country from the UK, which is summertime, it would be wrong. So just working intelligently with the products that I've got here available for me in Brisbane.
I am one of the chefs who has been brought along to match food with one of the wine sessions. So I have been set the task of making a whole lot of little pies, little different sort of savoury foods to match with 8 different vintages of Broken Wood Shiraz.
Today we've got 8 wines from different parts of our vineyard, so I guess the crux of what I'll be communicating to the people in my presentation today will be the expression of wine from different parts of a vineyard site. So it'll be not so much about this is what I do in the winery in order to give you this wine. It's more about how this part of our vineyard expresses itself, because the soil is different, the aspect is different, the elevation is different, and that is what gives the character to the fruit, and that is what determines the character of the wine.
People are much more savvy these days about what, their wines and their food. They're really into it, and so they don't want to be drinking a wine that's going to be killed by the food or vice versa.
I think anything in life is more enjoyable if you have a deeper understanding of it. And I think it's not necessary for people to have a great knowledge of wine to enjoy wine. It never should be. You should be able to grab a glass of wine, one exhilarates you a little bit more based on the character of the wine, and that's great. But I think wine should always give you the opportunity, if you want to find out more about it, to do so, and therefore wines that come from a particular place, to me, give the customer or the consumer, the person enjoying that glass of wine, a greater opportunity to connect right back to the place it's grown.
Well, they're like chefs, these winemakers, very passionate about what they do, and it's, you know, it's a wonderful part of the whole day.
My father's decision in 1988 was to plant a vineyard, and I helped him do that. I was at university then. And I'd had that long connection with the land and the place and the town, so it was natural for me to be there. And I found that I had an instinctive love of wine and an affinity with growing grapes and producing wine, and a great relationship and rapport with the people who were involved in the industry. So it was just really fortuitous and natural for me to take this path.
From a chef's point of view, this is the ultimate for me. This is what I love, being a part of it, and you know, I do take away so much from it.
Oh, we've really been enjoying watching a lot of the food shows on television, and we park here every day, so we go past and we saw it advertised and thought it would be a lovely thing to do.
The wines that have been excellent as well from various regions throughout Australia, and tasting them with different spices and flavours and herbs and textures. It's interesting when you really focus on that with the flavour, how you get different results.
I've come for the chefs, the good food, the wine, and especially Bernadette O'Shea and the bubbles.
It's just a real conglomeration. It's an amalgamation of chefs and enthusiasts and producers, and you get everyone together, and it becomes a total experience. So you can get everything at the same time. You can find out how to use it, where to source it, and how to present it on the table. So it's a total experience.
I don't think anything will ever eclipse the fantastic champagne session we had today. You know, it was just a blissful session of 9 champagnes, 9 food matches. You don't get better than that.
I would beseech you and counsel you to join us next time at the Brisbane Masterclass. We have had an aspirational, inspirational, perspirational couple of days. We've had some of the finest cooks and wine purveyors and makers and lifestyle coaches from around the planet. We've had Michael Keynes here from England. We've had Peter Reinhardt here from North Carolina. We have had Susur Lee here from Toronto. Mercurial people, absolute gentlemen, I cannot beseech you anymore than to make it here next time. We have so much fun here in Brisbane. We look forward to welcoming you back.